Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. Introducing your host from Bahasa Uptown, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, weighing in at hopefully a functioning vertical stream. He is your fellow Uptown no lie. Cornelius. Low. What? Okay, so maybe I jumped up a little bit too high and revealed something where the sun don't shine, but it is all good. It is all good. Okay, can everyone hear me clearly? I hope I can be heard clearly. Am I heard clearly here, folks? Do let me know. Let me just adjust my own volume a little bit. Let's out. Alright, do I now? What do you think, folks? What do you think? Do let me know. Alright. So, everyone able to hear me? Is everyone able to hear me? Okay, folks. So yes, my name is, to those who are not aware of who this lowly one is, I am Cornelius, professional wrestler turned Butler VTuber. Yes, indeed, folks. Yes, I'm an actual professional wrestler. I mean, look, would someone who isn't a professional wrestler do something like this? Something this diabolical? Do I mean? This. So, and yes, folks. This is an actual vertical stream. I think I'm just checking on my own stream here. I'm looking at it from this away. let me point out for you, like this away. And from what I can see, it's actually going all right. This is kind of great, actually. This is kind of great. I'm curious. So, if there's any issues, so any technical issues like audio issues, music, like you hear this BGM? If that's too loud, I'm about to set it here. Is that okay? Is that okay, folks? Do let me know. Do let me know. Okay. Let me just check those really quickly because again, apologies, folks. This is my first time ever doing a vertical stream. So I want to just make sure everything is correct. Oh, I just realized that my logo is actually that's not too bad. Okay. Alrighty. So, is this the greatest Wrestlemania ever? That's one of the questions that we will be tackling today. The whole point of this stream today is actually just a little chat, almost like a post-event discussion, I suppose. But that's not the only thing that we'll be covering. The whole theme for tonight is talking about WrestleMania in general. Obviously, we'll be touching a lot on this year's WrestleMania, which occurred practically yesterday. And why this particular WrestleMania is different from the others, good and bad, and everything in between, and just about why, and also about why like WrestleMania is such a big deal in the first place. So let's get into it, shall we? Let us get into it. Okay, first up, folks. What's a WrestleMania? What is a WrestleMania? To those who have actually seen, actually, no, let me actually do a poll. Let me do a little poll here. I hope this appears. Have you seen WrestleMania 40? Okay. Yes. No. I will after this stream. There we are. Not sure if that will appear or not, actually, on the stream. Does it now? Can anyone let me know? Actually? I'm legit not sure. In fact, let me just do a little something very quick. Let me drop these out. I want to see if this works. Does this work? Hello? Oh, hey, it dropped on me. Let's do that a little bit more, shall we? Yes, I'm gonna. So the emoji droppers do still work. That's lovely. Luckily my head's conditioned enough so that I'm quite used to all these things falling on my head. You know, like quite legitimately. Like you would think it hurts, but I'm pretty used to it by now. See? Yeah. That's pro wrestling. That's pro wrestling conditioning for you. This is wonderful. Also, can anyone? So let me know. I'm actually not so sure on when it comes to on the computer, but on mobile, by right, if I'm not wrong, this part here, as in like this section of the screen here, I'm waving my riding crop. That's where the chat box should be appearing quite naturally, quite automatically. Is it doing so? Please do let me know if it doesn't, yeah? Do let me know, please. Do let me know. Adrenaline in my soul. Tomorrow we're gonna riot, suckin'. What's suckin'? Elena, welcome. Yes, it is I. It's corn. A big lump with knobs. It has the juice. Ooh. Should not think about it. Maybe I should lower down my volume a tad. How's that? How's the volume for that? Let me know. Also, it's a top 10 Mania IMO. Ooh, top 10. I would say, if you had told me top 5, I think that would be more reasonable. I think it's top 5. We are going to get all into that very soon. We're going to get all into that very, very soon. Just let me know how's the volume, everybody. Every low. How's the volume? And if there's anything else. Okay, so we're going to get into it now, folks. So, and yes, hello there, Faisal. In fact, you know what? Since this is my first attempt at a vertical stream, I shall. Does anyone want anything to drink? I haven't done this in a while. Does anyone want anything to drink or to eat? This is, after all, a cafe, and I am a butler, after all. What does anyone wish to get anything? A glass of Coke, a bit of hot cocoa, water. Sounds good, excellent. Or perhaps something a little more substantial. Right. Okay, let's put it away. Jeez, imagine giving an entire cake to someone. Hello, sir. Here's your cake. Oh, thank you. It's an entire cake. What do you expect me to do with entire cake? I don't know. Someone bought this for you. Good luck. That sounds like some stalker action right there. Gifting someone anonymously an entire cake. Nah, I digress. So Wrestlemania. If to those that have seen me host my last episode of Square Circle Made Simple, my VTuber run pro wrestling game show, you will know that I talked a little bit about Wrestlemania. It is called the grandest stage of them all for a reason. In terms of professional wrestling, obviously WWE is the biggest company in the world, but their biggest event is bar none, by far, Wrestlemania. There's other very large events as well. SummerSlam comes to mind, Survivor Series, Double or Nothing, Wrestle Kingdom. I got a shout out to the lads in Tokyo as well. But nothing truly compares to the magnitude of Wrestlemania. I guess today we officially finished our story of fasting for Ramadan. That is actually very true. So, to those that have been fasting, congratulations. I know it's been a bit of a tough month, especially with the heat wave, and for some reason, we're going through a bit of a wet spell as well. Actually, in my part of uptown, it's raining constantly. It's raining right now. In fact, it's crazy. So like, so it's either we're dealing with extreme heat or extreme wetness, essentially. Not the good kind of wet, you know. WrestleMania 40, good God, that was cinema. Think of it like a movie. I was gonna say more like a mini series. Night 1 was Infinity War. Night 2 is Endgame. Good little analogy there. Good little analogy. WrestleMania 40 is basically Avengers Infinity War for Saturday night, while Saturday was Endgame. Yes, indeed. Oh, you two are thinking of the same thing. And I don't blame you guys. This felt different. I think it felt different. This WrestleMania felt different in many ways. Obviously, what still remains the same is that this is the marquee event. This is like one of their oldest. I believe this is WWE's first pay-per-view, like their first big, very, very special spectacle event. This is an event that actually, in some ways, going back all the way to the very beginnings of WrestleMania, it involves celebrities. It involved the big names. It was always about the spectacle, as much as it was about the wrestling. It was always about the who's who that will be there for the show. This year's event was no different. You got folks like famous football players from the Philadelphia football team. You had Snoop Dogg. I will be talking a little bit about Snoop Dogg later, actually. Like a microwave oven. I hope you've been keeping safe. I hope you've been keeping a hydrated Faiz Daniel. Hope you have. Streak was broken in Rain Mania. Night 2 was better than Night 1. We'll get to that. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do this, folks. Here's how we're gonna do it. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, you guys want anything to drink or something like that? After all, this is the last night of Ramadan. After all. Oh, before I forget, Selamat Hari Raya, guys. Selamat Hari Raya. May you all have a blessed holiday indeed. So, oh man, it's good. this whole event will stay in my mind for a while. Okay, so before we get into it, folks, here's what I'm not going to do when talking about WrestleMania tonight. I am not reviewing matches. Okay, I'm not reviewing matches. I'm not going to be poo-pooing on anything. I might criticize a little bit here and there, give a little bit of feedback. I think that's perfectly fine. But I'm not going to outright deride or whatever not. The reason is simple. I am not a wrestling reviewer. I don't run a wrestling podcast. I do make pro wrestling related content. But ultimately, I am still part of the industry. I'm still myself an active pro wrestler. Obviously, I'm not wrestling full time, but I do wrestle several times a year. I wrestle not just in Malaysia Pro Wrestling, I wrestle all across Southeast Asia as well. In some ways, I consider all the incredible talent in WWE somewhat my colleagues. In a very, in a very like a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend kind of a thing. It's hard on you. So a bottle of water, please. Let me get it over here. Let's see now. Where was it? It's been a while since I grabbed that. Oh, it's right here. Right here, and here we are. Elena. Oh, see, Elena Crystal. Here's a bottle of water for you. May your quench be thirst like the Sahara drinking up the water from the Pacific Ocean. There you are. Right here. Okay. So, let's see. So I explained a little bit about the WrestleMania already. In fact, let me ask you guys. What did you guys thought of? What was interesting with WrestleMania for you guys? Because that's what I want to tackle. I want to tackle what I found particularly interesting about WrestleMania. And there's definitely a lot to talk about for that. If you guys know, I know this is gonna be a bit of a weird analogy. Do you guys know the Worth It series? It used to be on BuzzFeed, then it became its own thing. Who did that? Greetings indeed, Don Avatar Road. Greetings. Did you watch WrestleMania by any chances? Did you watch WrestleMania? So yes, do let me know what are your own thoughts on WrestleMania, especially particularly what was very interesting for you guys. What was very interesting? Is this all about collaboration about wrestler? We are talking about WrestleMania tonight, the grandest stage now, the biggest pro wrestling event on the planet. WrestleMania in general, or just 40? For you guys, we can talk about you can tell me what's interesting about WrestleMania 40 for you guys. So yes, talk about WrestleMania 40. I will talk about WrestleMania in general. Although I'll be frank, I might just end up covering specifically WrestleMania 40, just because there's a lot to talk about. Indeed, WrestleMania is in some ways. So this is what I'll start off with, while you guys gather your thoughts. WrestleMania. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Not much. Sorry, Cornelius. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine indeed. I guess you can learn a little bit about WrestleMania. WrestleMania is in some ways the gateway to the mainstream. Pro wrestling has always wanted to court the mainstream. When I say mainstream, I mean things like mainstream media, the big news outlets, the big entertainment outlets, movies, big TV series, big celebrities, all that jazz. With all that's something that pro wrestling has always been trying to court from like the very beginnings of WWE. Because it's hard to build a fan base on your own when you're such a little island, essentially. In 40, Steph's side of the story. Ooh, good point. I'll talk a little bit about that very, very soon. So, this year alone, Snoop Dogg, famous footballers. I guess you could argue Logan Paul is almost part of the mainstream as well, especially because it's his own energy drink. So yeah, even going back to the earlier days of WrestleMania, people like Muhammad Ali would show up. Drew Carey is another one that I immediately thought of for some reason. I'm such an improv nerd. God, you guys remember Drew Carey? The Drew Carey show. Whose line is it anyway? He actually appeared in some WWE stuff before, actually. So that was pretty fun for me. My two interests at the time colliding: improv theater and pro wrestling, of which there's a lot that is related with. I mean, even Muppets has appeared there before. So WrestleMania being the flagship show for WWE, that is their gateway to the mainstream. And in some ways, it feels like WrestleMania is getting closer and closer ever to touching that mainstream, because a lot of these days, a lot of celebrities and all the big well-known names, they are quite unabashed in their love for pro wrestling. O'Shea Jackson Jr. is one that immediately came to mind. He's like the son of Ice Cube, essentially. Yeah, celebrities are like a tradition in WrestleMania. Exactly. He was on the Chris Van Vliet show, a very big pro wrestling podcast show, and he was talking about it. And he was talking about how much he loves pro wrestling. It's exactly why he wasn't on Van Vliet's show in the first place. And obviously something like the Iron Claw, that starred Zac Efron and many other incredible wrestlers. I think Jeremy Allen White. Yes, I think that's his name. Jeremy Allen White. J-A-W. Jaws. That's so lame of me. They were starring in a movie that was all about wrestling. It's like a very, very, very unfortunate wrestling family indeed. Isn't WWE mainstream already? Because people still associate wrestling with that company. Nope. WWE is big. WWE is it's gaining steam now. Obviously, it appears in a lot of the big mainstream news outlets. Yes, a lot of big names like to associate and really do enjoy the product. One little fact: I have a very, very strong feeling. More entertainers, more people associated with the entertainment industry enjoys wrestling than you think. Okay, in Malaysia itself, a surprising number of entertainers, low key, really enjoyed wrestling, because in some ways, in some ways, pro wrestling can be. It's not to say that it's dumbed down entertainment, but it's something that you can watch immediately. Just one standalone match, and you can just get it. You don't have to follow a whole storyline with it and stuff. And also, obviously, sometimes just the absolute wackiness that can be involved. And sometimes entertainers, they need something a little more primal, a little more not based. When I say based, I mean like foundational. Because for us, like, a punch is a punch, and if it gets people laughing, great. Hey there, Noble. He very loved wrestling. O'Shea Jackson Jr. Is that who you're referring to? Yes, very much so. But no, WWE is still not considered mainstream. Things that I would consider mainstream: big movies, big time celebrities, especially those from the Hollywoods, K-pop, J-pop. If it's something that you think is a niche thing, it's not mainstream. Okay. WWE is closer than ever to reaching that. I wish wrestling is even more popular now. It's getting there. That's the crazy thing. I have been telling this to everybody right now. Everybody. There's never been a better time to be a pro wrestling fan than now. WWE is more accessible than ever. WWE has reinvented itself in a big way, and I'll explain more of that very, very soon. There are alternatives to WWE. There are local alternatives to WWE. If you want to watch wrestling live in your home country, I'm assuming you guys are from Southeast Asia. I'm assuming there is likely a pro wrestling company right now in your country right now. And if you really enjoy wrestling, you owe it to yourself to check out local pro wrestling and feel the energy in person. Yeah. And yes, I am shilling myself a little bit because I do. If you're Malaysian, you have no excuse to not watch me live. Please watch me live. So, yeah. And even to an extent, and this really surprised me. I'm not gonna name drop this particular individual yet because I don't really know this VTuber. This VTuber was the first VTuber I saw, the first agency VTuber that I saw that has openly said that she likes pro wrestling. In fact, it was in a when we do our debut streams, right? We like to put our likes and dislikes and all that jazz. In her list of likes, first thing was legitimately pro wrestling. I was like, wait, what? I was not expecting to hear that from you. Not only did she say that she liked pro wrestling, she was talking about it in a stream just this morning. Like her entire stream was dedicated to talking about professional wrestling. That's wild. That is wild. Just all about that. I see more wrestling fans nowadays. It's nice to not be alone anymore. That's really good to hear. Because at the time, there was a time when watching wrestling was seen as kind of geeky, seen as like low class in a way, seen as something that is not cool. I think pro wrestling's cool nowadays. Not mainstream, but it's seen in a much more positive light due to a lot of positive changes recently. Getting out into the media more, doing a lot of outreach programs, telling very human stories, putting on banger matches. Yeah. So I'm really glad to hear you say that, Lena. We should not be ashamed, unless if it's something that is criminal. We should not be ashamed of expressing what we like, and unless if it gets you in trouble. Yeah, like I in publicly I don't really talk about me being a VTuber, unless I'm in the position to do so. Then sure. One other funny thing is so basically, so for example, Donna Bataro, if you are curious about professional wrestling, the best place to do it is Wrestlemania, or rather the marquee big events, the big blow-off event for any wrestling promotion. So for WWE, of course, it's Wrestlemania. In fact, it is the gateway for all of professional wrestling. In fact, I will explain why I'm using the word professional wrestling extremely liberally tonight. So it is in some ways it's a great introduction because it will be featuring matches that are what we call blow-off matches. These matches are like the culmination of the story. You are watching you're not watching the build-up. You're watching the big climax. For example, the storyline between LA Knight and AJ Styles. This match in WrestleMania is their blow-off match. This is the culmination of it all. They're gonna settle their differences here. They're gonna duke it out in the biggest stage of them all. So you're gonna see a lot of storylines converging in WrestleMania. So it's a great place to start. So it's not like you're starting off. So it's not like you're watching something that's happening that's still building up. You're not watching something that requires a lot of explanation. No, you just go to the big matches itself. And obviously it's a big spectacle as well. You can expect to see like a lot of celebrities there. And also this doesn't apply to every match, but for the most part, with some exceptions, most of the matches in WrestleMania are not that complex. What do I mean by this? To those who have been watching wrestling a long time, you'll know that the level of complexity and outrageousness in professional wrestling has just increased like practically tenfold over the past couple decades. Like it has gotten so much more complex. Crazier stunts, more complex sequences, just absolute insanity. there was some absolutely insane matches in this for sure, like that 6-pack ladder tag match. Oh, that was insane. I want to complain about AJ Styles versus LA Knight is AJ's new theme, but yeah, great match. I don't know why people. I know some people were ragging on that. I don't know why. I actually personally like it. Because sometimes people want to freshen things up. I actually think it's a great new theme actually. Whether it will have the same legacy as Don't Say I Want None, Don't Say I Want None, it remains to be seen. But what better way to debut a new theme than in freaking WrestleMania? So yeah, so because they are not that complex, and I actually mean that as a compliment, because you do not need crazy, insanely complex matches to put on a good match. There were some matches, like even the main event of WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. I do not consider that match that technically complex. They worked hard, they wrestled hard, but on a technical standpoint, it wasn't that complex, and that is not a bad thing. Because again, from the very start to right now, WrestleMania 40 is all about introducing people to pro wrestling. So they would be wise to not have every match be anything that's too overwhelming, because there is such a thing as sensory fatigue. If every match 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if every match was insanely complex and adrenaline fueled and just utter balls to the walls insanity, your brain will be exhausted. I've seen that before. I know it's happened before. Main event in night 2 is 5 stars easily. I think I can agree with that. It will be a match that people will be talking about for a long time. Freaking A, Cody Rhodes. Freaking A. Because people were raving about Cody Rhodes versus Dustin Rhodes in Double or Nothing for a long time. Like that match solidified AEW. And then to solidify his championship, to actually earn the championship, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns main evented in one of the most memorable matches in recent history. Just absolutely insane. Okay. Here's why this WrestleMania is a very different WrestleMania compared to all the other years. Would you guys like to? Do you guys have any thoughts on why this WrestleMania was different? Any thoughts? Guys? Any thoughts? For me personally, I'm going to say it boiled down to one man, but one particular man definitely made a difference. A big difference I don't know. Okay, for a little perspective here, I don't really watch WrestleManias. I watch a lot of wrestling. Don't get me wrong. I probably watch more wrestling than you guys because this is my bloody job. There's this one wrestler actually in Japan, based in Japan. Some of you might know him if you ever watched New Breed 1 last year, our big MyPW event last year. His name is Chris Weiss. He recently came down to do a seminar in MyPW. And one thing that he said that kind of struck with me a little bit is that because he works full-time as a wrestler, he doesn't really watch wrestling anymore. Because the man is legitimately traveling all across Japan, not just Tokyo, all across Japan. And so he could be wrestling 1 time per week, 3 times per week. He's even mentioned 5 times per week, actually. Imagine doing that every week of the year, or most of the weeks of the year. So yeah. So I have to pick and choose. So for me personally, I'm a part-time wrestler in a way. But I still have to pick and choose because there's so much to check out. I deliberately want to check out my Southeast Asian brethren. I want to check out their matches as well. I want to check out matches from other companies as well. I do watch AEW quite a lot as well, so I do follow their pay-per-views, their PLEs. and maybe a little bit of WWE here and there whenever I can. So I often forego WrestleMania because again, I've already been introduced to WrestleMania many times. I want to check out other things as well, and pick and choose what I want to watch, as opposed to a specific event thing. And that's actually kind of why I actually wanted to watch. I didn't watch. Full disclosure, I have not watched all the matches in WrestleMania, both night 1 and 2. Not all of it, but most of it. Just because, oh Jesus, so much to watch. I was busy throughout that weekend as well, so I had to pick and choose. But I at least watched a lot of it, so I can at least say some stuff about it for sure. And not just say things that comes out of my ass. Was because it was not booked by this particular individual. More like Triple H, aka Paul Levesque. I thought it was Paul Levesque. Oh well. Basically Triple H. This was very much his show. This was very much his vision. How to keep up with pro wrestling because there's so many to pick and choose. Exactly. It's a great time to be a pro wrestling fan. In that you get to really watch whatever the hell you want. You're not just relegated to just WWE. You want to watch something more local, more gritty? Watch MWF or Malaysia Pro Wrestling. Or something a little more action packed, a little busier. AEW. It was something where it's the biggest spectacle of all. Where it's all about the storylines. You watch WWE. So for me personally, Triple H has been a really big changer in this. It felt so, I don't know. Again, I've watched some WrestleManias. This had a different energy. It had a very different energy. I know that sounds really weird. One thing that I didn't realize until after the show was until I finished watching WrestleMania, at least most of the matches, was and this is something that already occurred even before WrestleMania, but it just occurred to me how much I didn't realize this. To those that have watched WWE over the past several years, you'll know that the signature thing that they do a lot is they will do there's an unbelievable number of camera cuts. If there's like some sequence happening, or if they're punching something, you'll know that they do love to do that zooming in and out thing when there's anyone like doing like a ground and pound thing, or they will cut, or even in a matter of like 5 seconds they will cut the camera like 10 times, something crazy like that. I don't think there was anything like that at all in WrestleMania. It was like it just occurred to me like, wait, what? And my brain was like, am my brain just went like, went all what? Because I cannot emphasize enough those insanely fast camera cuts and zoom ins and outs was I don't know about you guys, but I'll be honest with you, that's something I've hated about WWE for a long time, and they've been sticking to their guns with that for a long time. And that was not there at all. It felt like it was like a seamless experience essentially. WrestleMania 40 felt like SummerSlam 2002 in a way, because people can tell it's a Triple H show. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that for sure. In some ways, it's jarring to see different camera transition in WWE, but in a nice way. Exactly, right? Exactly. Like even in the recent WWE Raw episode, the Raw after Mania, there were like very something a lot of people noticed was like very smooth transitions. Like there was this one video I saw where Dominic shoved the camera out of the way, and then the camera immediately moved out into the audience, out into the stadium, and they could do different, and they basically went transition into a different segment. That is unheard of. That is unheard of. It felt, yes. This WrestleMania felt more relaxed. It felt more relaxed. How do I know this? Commentary. I noticed commentary felt more relaxed. A lot of people, and this included myself actually to some extent, really found Michael Cole for many years kind of jarring. Like everyone always flashed back to whenever we think of great commentators, especially in WWE, we think of folks like Taz, Jim Ross, Jerry the King Lawler. I myself grew up on Taz and on Taz and Jim Ross for a long time. I thought they were great, you know. But Michael Cole absolutely was one of the breakout stars for this. I know that sounds kind of weird that I'm highlighting a commentator here, but a lot of people have noticed this too actually. When he's allowed to let go, he will go. What do I mean by that? I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but it's made quite public that back when this particular individual, a particular individual was running the show, he would basically micromanage a multi-billion-dollar company. Everything from the booking to the production to the commentary, he was in the commentator's ears all the time. You got it right there, Lena. You got it right. Oh. By the way, before I get to that point, just want to check here. Are there any is the chat appearing here? Is the chat appearing here? Do let me know, because I don't really see that on the desktop. But yes, you're right. Damn it, I love pro wrestling. It's something I never thought I'd hear from Cole. That is something I also noted as well. I was like, holy shit, he just said pro wrestling. Don't get me wrong. Like, we've heard this uttered before in WWE. Even and I'm talking about as quite recently too. Drew McIntyre made a whole thing about it where we're pro wrestlers, let's just wrestle. But to hear it from the commentator, the voice of WWE, say, damn it, I love wrestling. In fact, that whole monologue, that whole ending monologue, it reminded me so much of Kofi Mania. When Kofi Kingston won his WWE championship from Daniel Bryan. Well, yeah, it was what's the word? Yeah, and Byron Saxton basically made the commentary call of his life. Something like, you know, basically say 15 years, Kofi Kingston had to overcome all adversity and all that. It was such an impassioned monologue. That's what this reminded me of. And to hear Michael Cole talking so candidly about how he knew Cody Rhodes since he was a child, tagging against him in an actual match. Yes, Michael Cole actually was wrestling at one point, and finishing his story and ending it with, "Damn it, I love professional wrestling." WWE is calling themselves professional wrestling. That is, if you were to tell me that WWE, if you were to tell me, the me from as early as 5 years ago, that WWE would be calling themselves a professional wrestling company, wrestling promotion, I would have laughed at you. Fat chance. Why would they do that? They want to be their own thing. They want to be above pro wrestling. And here they are admitting that they are pro wrestling. In many ways, I can only see the chat from the chat. Yeah, I'm saying that if you're watching this from your phone, do you see it at the lower half of the screen? That's what I'm saying. So do you see it? You see it? Someone let me know, please. So yeah, this whole event felt like a love letter to professional wrestling. I think Cody Rhodes made a tweet that pro wrestling is a love story. I guess that's actually a good segue into into the big difference with this WrestleMania compared to others, in that we are culminating the bloodline story arc that's been going on for many years, and it ended with the story. For those who aren't aware, Cody Rhodes left AEW, a company, a rival professional wrestling company that immediately became the second biggest wrestling company in the world, that he co-founded, and joined WWE because he wanted to win the I think, if I'm not wrong, I think he wanted to win the WWE Universal Championship, the championship that his father, the late and great Dusty Rhodes, American Dream, never won. He wanted to win that for his father. He wanted to live up to his father's expectations because his father was seen as an icon. Cody Rhodes was at one point seen as a good wrestler, but not someone that you will see as one of the greats. He wanted to sort of like buck that trend a little bit, you know? Which is why the opening of his entrance theme is wrestling as more than one royal family. That's his whole shtick, that he is a second generation wrestler that's trying to live up to the almost impossible expectations that his father has set. Roman Reigns is the MVP of the Bloodline saga. Acknowledge him. I'm doing it with Gordon Cobb. See? I'm doing it. Am I doing it? Am I doing it? Okay, great. No, so it was very interesting to see that. In fact, a lot of people have made the argument that a lot of changes have happened when Cody Rhodes returned to WWE and faced Seth Rollins. That was the start of like this new era, I suppose. So to see this storyline culminate in such a spectacular way, it was incredible. It's just incredible, man. You know, like I said, I wasn't really interested in checking out WrestleMania initially, but hearing all the social media buzz about WrestleMania and well, I'm curious myself as to, will he actually get the championship this time round? You know, because for the longest of time, WWE had one guy. This entire company would be built on one guy. Back then, it was John Cena, and in recent years, it was Roman Reigns. In fact, never mind. In recent years, for many years, it was just Roman Reigns. There will be other wrestlers, but Roman Reigns was front and center, and everyone else is will literally take a backseat. You know, this entire event felt like a changing of the guard, not just for Roman Reigns as well, I believe it or not, for a lot of other folks as well. To be honest, WrestleMania ended well, but I think what happened at the end of 39 was a mistake. I can't even remember what happened at the end of 39. I don't think I watched it. What happened at the end of 39, anyways? No. Well, Cody Rhodes lost, right? Is that right? Cody Rhodes lost. I can't really comment on that actually. But obviously, with these sort of things, okay. Actually, here's the thing. So that's the thing. I'm using the word storyline a lot. And that's so when I say story, I mean like story arc. So that means there's this whole character arc that's happening here actually. And we see the culmination of that in WrestleMania Night 2, isn't it? So just a whole different feel. This whole event was absolutely insane. I think for a lot of newer viewers are spoiled by this. Actually, a lot of newer viewers, they didn't realize like just how different WrestleMania was. This WrestleMania is compared to others. I think. Mhm. Um. So, okay, here's actually a really interesting thing that I personally thought about the main event, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. I was actually a little bit surprised by this, especially because in contrast, Night One's main event, which is a team of Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. I guess in some ways he's also a celebrity as well. You know, one that had obviously very extremely close ties to WWE, maybe even closer than ever. Now that he's a freaking owner, one of the owners of WWE now. Wow, that's just insane to hear. Insane to even say. What was it? Oh yes. So I think so, including the entrances. That tag team main event lasted close to an hour. It was a good long entrance too. And the match also went on for quite a while, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. It was very much a slow burner match. It was good. It was still good. It was still great. I was actually quite impressed by The Rock. Actually, he took some gnarly bumps. But then, in contrast, the main event of night 2. I know this might sound crazy, might surprise you guys a bit. I know a lot of people have said that. There was so much stuff happening. There was so much happening with the main event. I actually thought it wasn't that overbloated, because if there's any time to go balls to the wall, to throw everything you can in a match, it would be for the main event of WrestleMania, especially one where it's essentially bloodline rules, aka no holds barred. Anything goes. And that's what and I think the match from bell to bell was like 40 minutes long, which I thought was actually which basically meant that I thought things were actually very well paced. It wasn't dragged out or anything like that. So it didn't feel like a real chore to watch. Like if you've watched enough wrestling matches, you'll know that some matches can be a bit of a chore to watch. Like something that was 20 minutes long could have been 10 minutes long. This felt like it was proper 40 minutes, like Roman and Cody were putting on a real hard wrestling match before all the shenanigans even happened. And once the shenanigans happened, it was like well earned, well deserved, just absolute insanity. I think Cody winning at 39 is still a better choice. I think that's why Mania 40 is not top 5 Mania, still solid at 39 just a state. I personally think that no. I think Cody losing at 39 was right, because it made WrestleMania 40 that much more special. He needed more time to basically he needed to go on a longer journey, is what I'm saying, because he still returned to WWE fairly recently, I think. So he needed a little more time to get to where he was. And it helps that he got into a freaking program with The Rock as well. That just elevated things to a huge extent as well. It became practically a blood feud in a way between Roman Reigns / Rock. That was really interesting. The Rock added such a unique dynamic to it. Here and so this is okay. I mentioned that this whole event felt more relaxed. What do I mean by that? I mean that the things that is predetermined, the things that are real, it's getting blurred. Actually, it's getting blurred. For instance, I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you guys are able to spot this. Again, obviously I've got wrestler eyes, so I watch things differently from you guys. But you could tell when there is real emotion in something. When I say real emotion, I don't mean that they're like breaking character or whatnot. I mean like they're able to just put in their entire heart and soul into what they're doing and what they're saying. That the ending monologue by Michael Cole, on how he said he loved pro wrestling and how he was talking about Cody Rhodes at length when he was a kid till becoming a contender. To something like something that's a little more subtle, like I don't know if you guys caught this. But when R-Truth and Miz won the Raw Tag Team Championships, the commentators made a note that this was I believe his first WrestleMania win. And to win in WrestleMania is a big deal, of course. For someone like R-Truth, who's been mostly a mid-carder for the majority of his career, to win a championship match in WrestleMania, like you could, it was very quick and subtle, but you could see like a real, like you could see his expression just absolutely change, absolutely change. And you could see that he was like almost like beside himself, and Miz almost had to encourage him and stuff, to something like that was even more. There was actually almost more to do with production, actually. For example, this one's real technical here. So brace yourself. In that insane ladder match, in that same match, that same insane ladder match, there was a ladder that one of its legs was buckling real hard. Even the commentators could not deny it. Even they had to make note of it. Damian Priest, one of the largest guy in that insane tag match, he was about to climb up that ladder. Jessica Carr, one of the referees, you could see her actually literally pull on her leg, on Damian's leg, yelling at him, and I believe it was to do with that ladder, because that ladder was about to collapse. Damian handled that really well, and after a failed attempt at grabbing the belts, he threw away the ladder and grabbed a new one. So that's kind of what I mean. That because back then, and this was sort of exposed wide open by a certain lunatic fringe that like I said, WWE was very much a machine. It was almost catered to one person. It always seemed that way, but it was almost like confirmed in a way by this particular lunatic fringe. It was really fascinating to see that. And so, because things are more relaxed now, things are less micromanaged, a lot of these little things come out, and they come out almost amazingly. For example, Samantha Irvin, the announcer for WrestleMania, like you could hear her voice choking up when Cody got the 1, 2, 3. You could hear her choking up. I can guarantee you that she would not be behaving that way if this was like old, what I call old WWE. If certain lunatic fringe is not a certain straight edge person, for me it was the lunatic fringe. Why the lunatic and not the straight edge person? Simple reason that this was way more candid. There was less chip on the shoulder. So when this particular lunatic fringe left WWE to go to pursue other projects, he was very deliberate with his words in a tell-all podcast on why he left and what caused him to leave. It basically boiled down to micromanagement, and how everything had to be nitpicked to the nth degree. Yes, and you are right that the straight edge person obviously made reference to all this as well, but to an extent, this particular lunatic fringe was at the top of the game at the time, the most popular pro wrestler in WWE at the time, or one of at least. When the straight edge person left, he was already slipping down a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. But he was already seen as burnt out, whereas the lunatic fringe was still seen as a very, very popular guy. So to find out that this was someone who was one of the top guys, a championship material guy, leave. And mind you, he left on good terms too. He left because his contract expired. Nothing else. And he was very candid, carefully candid about all this. It says it says a lot. It was something that was way more telling than I could have ever predicted. And the fact that it came from the very top says a lot. I feel that the lunatic fringe person would not go back even with new management, but never say never. Never say never indeed. But I think you're right. I think he will. He seems like he will keep his word. I wouldn't doubt. I wouldn't mind. In fact, a lot of people were hoping real hard that he would be making an appearance, at least one of appearance, because the Shield theme played. When that theme played, people, you could see the audience, they were looking everywhere. Is he? Where is he? Who's he? How is he? Is he gonna come up from here? Is he gonna come up from there? Come up under here? Is he gonna come up from up there? Where? He didn't show up. It was just Seth. It was just Seth in the Shield gear. Again. Gods, how to mess with Roman Reigns? Bring out the Shield gear. Oh man. Yeah. So a lot of things felt more relaxed. And so the wrestlers were able to do what they do essentially. So this event felt less micromanaged. Here's another thing also that, I mean, this is something that has happened over the years as well. Seth was a literal Shield that night. Yes, he was. Storyline, baby. Storyline. Like little classic storytelling. Callbacks. Motifs. Payoffs. Climax. Classic storytelling devices that in some ways WWE lacked for a long time. Until recent years. Because I hate to say it, but sometimes you did not have to bother following the WWE at all. You can just pop in any time, and it might be like the same thing in the last week, last month, last couple of months, even the exact same thing. You know, because there was a story. It was self-contained. There was no arc involved. This whole Bloodline arc was very much a proving point that storytelling, long-term storytelling, still belongs in professional wrestling. It's something that even in MyPW, we only have several shows per year, but it's something we absolutely do focus on. It's something that we actually do very much consciously think about as well. You know, even at the lowest of levels to the highest of levels, it's something that everyone should be thinking of. You know. And then the post-media scrum. A certain very, very high-level wrestler has actually once said to me, I was a little surprised to hear this too, that he was more fascinated by the post-media scrum. That means like the post-event press conference than the actual event itself. This veteran wrestler, was more fascinated with what the wrestlers had to say after the event was done than the event or the matches itself, actually. I can sort of see why. but the product is still the wrestling matches. So yeah. I think WWE is not on the level of NXT takeovers, but it's getting there now. I don't know if WWE should be like an NXT takeover. I don't know if that's a bit of a hot take or not, but I don't think they should be. NXT takeovers, they're insane. Some of the matches can be so incredibly intense and incredible. It can be, like I said, exhausting to watch. I can safely say that that something like the NXT takeovers, they love to do 2 out of 3 falls. So something like the Gargano, like the very famous Gargano Ciampa 2 out of 3 falls match, I guarantee you that would be booked and planned very differently if it was in WrestleMania. I can guarantee that. Because NXT takeovers is almost more for those who are really, really, really into professional wrestling as opposed to storytelling. Yeah, I'm not sure if it should be like if WrestleMania should, or even or even if the other WWE should be like takeovers at all. I think takeovers are meant for a specific audience, and nothing wrong with that. So and plus, imagine if you were to basically, and also there's also this whole like risk reward factor as well, because what they do in those takeover matches can be absolute insanity. I think I can safely say that takeover matches, for the most part, are way riskier than WrestleMania matches. A pro wrestler, a veteran pro wrestler, has once said, one of the goals as any wrestler is to have as much longevity as possible. Not in your pro wrestling career. I know not everyone has this sort of a mentality. I bloody well do. I want to do this for as long as I can. So, not to say I won't take risks, not to say I won't go ham, but I'm going to be very calculated with how I do it. That's fair. I mean that WWE should have great matches, kind of like an NXT takeover. Oh, they do. What was your favorite, Alina? What was your favorite match out of WrestleMania? Okay, I know. Okay, say Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, and then your second favorite match. Okay. I say that. Okay. What's your favorite match? Your favorite and second favorite match out of WrestleMania? Come. I would like to hear it. What's mine actually? Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns. Absolutely, that's number 1 for me as well. I think that goes without saying. The other very predictable answer. Do I want to say the predictable answer? I don't. No. You like Bayley versus EU? Oh, I need to check. I haven't checked it out yet. I haven't checked it out yet. But I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that the ladies really represented themselves well. I liked my second favorite match. Is Final Testament versus The Pride. So that's Bobby Lashley and Street Profit versus Karen Cross and Authors of Pain. That's my second favorite one. I know that's a bit surprising. It wasn't even that long a match, but for me, that match represented what is fun about professional wrestling. You watch that for the train wreck that pro wrestling can be, and it got wild. So that match had just a lot of wacky moments, and I really enjoyed it. And that match too was also a good example of what I mean by things are being more relaxed. The ending of the match, they literally got a table ready. They put Karen Cross on the table because what's his name? Montez Ford was about to do his signature incredibly high frog splash. Then before he could do that, the table already collapsed, and they're like, "Get another table!" It was hilarious. I love it. I love it. I love it when pro wrestlers, they have to like be confronted with these sort of like wacky moments that happens out of nowhere, and they have to adapt. I love it. I love it. Rhea versus Becky was surprisingly good because from what I understand, Becky was sick, very sick actually, during that event. So I was like, so I guess that was one of the reasons why it opened actually, why it opened. But it was a good event too, very hard hitting, very very hard hitting. Yeah, really really hard hitting. And they went balls to the walls. Rhea is very much one of those examples of people that I see as part of the changing of the guard, you know, because for a long time Becky was seen as like the man, the wrestler, the female wrestler. She has a whole book out and everything. She was cosplaying as a book. I don't know if you guys noticed. She was cosplaying as a book. I thought that was funny. But Ripley is just on another level. I mean, she looks so much bigger compared to Becky, and she's just such an incredible wrestler too. So my God, it was awesome to see that. It was awesome to see that. The fact that WWE is so ready to, the fact that I'm even talking about a changing of the guard in WWE is already a crazy thing. The fact that someone like Rhea Ripley is getting so much publicity, the fact that WWE itself is so ready to put her front and center so often, is a real testament to how much they are loosening up in WWE. Rhea is so good, but I'm also excited for people like Jade, Roxy, and Tiffany. Yes, absolutely. Jade just, oh God, she's a freaking statuesque Amazon. My God. I know her pinfall got a lot of people up in the tizzy. Like you know, like she was doing a bit of this here. She hit the a signature move, bam, spun him around, pinned him, looked upside down, went stuck a tongue out. I know I can't really stick my tongue out, but like going, you know, she was doing a little bit of the yeah, give it S, you guys. Give us, control yourselves. Pete's sakes. Oops. So the fact that you know that there is a real possibility that more people can be featured besides Roman Reigns is incredible. So yeah, it was really interesting to see. I was talking about the media scrum. So it's really interesting too because again, in some ways, okay, you're gonna have to bear with me a little bit. This is a bit of a loaded term in professional wrestling. Do you guys know what carny means? I had to explain to some of the newer trainees what carny meant. Carny refers to a carnival worker essentially, because that's pro wrestling. Those are the origins, the early heydays of professional wrestling, when it used to be more a carnival mainstay. Professional wrestling, being a carny basically had a lot of negative connotations because it means that you are trying to shill your customers, trying to manipulate them, and not in a good way. Actually, there was a saying actually that in some ways WWE is the last carny promotion in professional wrestling, because they would just do things their way, whether you like it or not. It was based on one man's vision, and that's about it. When things were kept so hidden, it was its own little boys club for such a long time. it was his way or no way, essentially. Yeah, I mean, so that's kind of why I'm glad there are alternatives if people are not into that sort of thing. So, for instance, in that media scrum, when Bailey was being interviewed, she was wearing an independent wrestler's shirt. I think it was Jada Stone. Like he had a face and everything too. In OWE, this would be freaking unheard of. Unheard of. She would have been like blacklisted practically if she were to wear an indie wrestler's shirt in a WWE post-event press conference. She would have been lambasted so hard. But she was so proud to wear it too. She wanted to wear it because Jada Stone was like someone who was a fan, became joined pro wrestling, was an extra in WWE apparently, and she wanted to basically do a little tribute to a longtime fan. Insane. We also discussed the NXT Stand and Deliver, Hall of Fame, or any indie events within Wrestlemania. I will touch a little bit on some indie events. I did not watch NXT Stand and Deliver or the Hall of Fame. I could touch maybe a little bit about the Hall of Fame because I saw some stuff about it. I love Ilya. Ilya Dragunov is the beast. Undoubtedly. Indubitably. I don't need to watch NXT Stand and Deliver to know what a beast he is. Because Okay, I guess we're going on a tangent about Ilya Dragunov. I watched him before he even entered WWE. I knew about him when he was still in VXV, WXW in Germany, when he was still based in Germany. In fact, I am shocked that he actually ended up in WWE in the first place. I was shocked because he seemed like such a indie lifer, like someone that actually didn't really want to leave Europe, actually. So to find out that he left Europe and moved to USA was honestly a little bit of a shock for me. And kudos to him too, because he is incredible. Also, apologies. I made a deliberate decision to every time after about 1 hour has passed, I need to stand up. Because if I don't stand up, I sit down too long, I will be in pain. My chronic pain will flare up. So you guys get to enjoy a bit of this. So when you see my booty shorts, that basically means that I am standing up and just stretching. Jeez. So Dragunov is yeah. I have seen him go ham in some of those European matches. Utterly insane. He actually debuted in Raw recently too. Very good for him. Very, very good for him. So WWE is in an era where I actually learned this from Swerve actually. In your pro wrestling matches, and I guess even in non wrestling segments as well, highlight your strengths and cover up your weaknesses. Also, just to check, is my BGM a little bit too soft? My BGM a little bit too soft. Okay. I need that. One important indie stuff happened during WrestleMania weekend. We have Titan, the mascot. I know about him. The Giant Chicken. I also know about him. Microman. Surprisingly know about him. And Aja Kong in one Battle Royale. Yes. That Battle Royale. Was that GCW? It's probably GCW. DDT Infinity. It was a DDT event. Yes. I will talk about that particular thing soon. Don't worry, I'll get there. I need Ilya versus Gunther in Mania. Or maybe even before that. Imagine. Two Europeans from two German-speaking countries. So it's not exactly Germany versus Germany because because Ilya is because Gunther is Austrian after all, and Ilya is he's German Russian, so he's German nationality but ethnically Russian. So if that would be insane to see a European versus European match in Mania. Just saying, I'm not sure if that's ever happened before, but that would be almost like like breaking boundaries, because because WrestleMania is to some extent seen as a American thing. I will talk a little bit about that battle, about the indie stuff soon. Just let me get through WrestleMania first, because WrestleMania alone is a huge topic. So, oh my goodness, oh man, that event was just insane. So you see what I mean? The fact that people openly, that they were talking so candidly about these things. Damon Priest talked about how he was homeless for a little while. The Rock even peeling back the layers, not being the final boss, just talking almost as Dwayne Johnson. To give a little backstory. So that's really interesting. And notice that they use a term that's very specific. They said I think these days they're saying, because WWE used to call themselves sports entertainment, right? They will almost never use the word professional wrestling. They said, but recently, The Rock said sports and entertainment, not sports entertainment. That's really interesting to hear The Rock of all people saying that. We're living in some very interesting times. Very interesting times. Roman making that reporter leave because of that boo was the best part. Oh yeah. I heard about that. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. So yeah, you can still mess around a little bit. For sure. But for the most part, they do peel back a little bit when they want to. In these post-media scrums. Really fascinating that that they're using this almost as a storytelling, almost like a director's commentary. Anyone remember what director's commentaries are? You guys better remember what director's commentary are, okay? Anyone who's bought DVDs should know what a director's commentary is. Please tell me I don't have to explain what a DVD is. That actually brings me to an interesting question. I think we really are in a new era of professional wrestling. It used to be like the ruthless aggression era, then the PG era. But what about these past couple of years? To be honest, the media scrums remind me of Talking Smack. You're right. You are right. So it's where things get peeled back a little more. They get to talk more candidly. Things are more relaxed, but there's still a level of shenanigans that happens. Indeed, because what's the fun of that without some shenanigans of professional wrestling? But what do you think this era is called now? I can list out some stuff as well. What do you think it's called? I know that when Stephanie McMahon opened up the show for WrestleMania, she called it the Paul Levesque era, the Triple H era. I can see why, but that might be a little bit too a bit too lofty of a name, because you're basing it on one person. It's defined by one person. I don't know how AEW or the other large wrestling promotions feel about that. A few years ago, I think it was the no fans era, because of the obvious. I actually still consider that part of the PG era to an extent. But these days, actually no, that's a good point. There was so much bleeping in Wrestlemania. So much bleeping. And shockingly, barely any of it was from Snoop Dogg. Juby! Hey lad, how are you? The revival. I like that, mate. I like that. I'll give you an applause there. No, actually, no, I like that. Actually. Yeah, stop laughing. Hey, stop laughing. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good one. Everyone, please welcome Jupiter Slime, VTuber. Oh my goodness. What did you thought of WrestleMania, Jupiter? Did you watch it? Oh, it's so... I will be thinking about this WrestleMania for a long, long time. And everything surrounding it. Were you there? In the Lincoln Field Center? Were you there? Because I actually no, I was no bloody hell. There were so many pro wrestler VTubers who were there. I can think of at least 2 who were there in person in Philadelphia watching it live. Sometimes I wish I was American. But I have to deal with gun violence. I didn't get to watch it, but my friend was giving me the play-by-play. That's nice of him. Absolutely. This almost goes without saying. This is one of the wrestling events to watch. This is genuinely an incredible event, top down. I wouldn't say every match was a banger. I'll mention one match that wasn't a banger, and I'll carefully explain why. Remember, I am a professional wrestler after all. I wish I could afford to go. Just watch it online then. Let's watch it online. I would like to think that's more affordable. So yes, you're aware I'm an actual pro wrestler, right? What am I doing? Yeah. So yes, I'm an actual professional wrestler, folks. What is it? I'm not gonna say that yet. I'm not gonna reveal. I'm not gonna open my mouth just yet. I'm not gonna talk about that just yet. So, revival era. I like that. I really like that. That's in the short list. Easy. The one that I heard of as well is a Renaissance era. I like that too. That table exploded. It did. But I got through the table. Yes. Long-time viewers will have seen that video dozens and at this rate hundreds of times. So yes, that was me in a triple threat match in Singapore. A ringless match. Feature table of all things. Yeah. Another one that I've heard of, another name that I heard of that I think is quite apt actually, is the fan era. FAN fan, like pro wrestling fan. Why? Because a lot of the newer generation of wrestlers that are in WWE right now, they didn't get in because they were a big giant guy. They were seen as built for the business. They weren't like second generation people either that were like already got an in. They already had an in into the business. No, a huge number of wrestlers that became wrestlers joined because they were fans first. Rhea Ripley, Xavier Woods, Becky Lynch, and many more started out in the indies enjoying being pro wrestling fans, already having merch in their houses and everything. The fans era will be accurate after the no fans era, in my opinion. I would say even if the pandemic didn't happen at all, I would still say that's still relevant because it's kind of like to some extent, it feels like the fans are almost running the show these days. Almost. Oh, actually, before I forget, Juby, if you're still there, as you might know, Juby, I am a professional wrestler turned butler, VTuber. So, would you like a little something to quench your thirst in these rather balmy times? I don't know how it is in your part of the planet, but where I am is balmy as a sweaty butt. The OnlyFans. Oh, I wish I didn't read that. Ugh. So, like, we are the authority to an extent. Mind you, it's still very much. Everything still goes by Triple H. The OnlyFans are, no, we're not. Do I even want to go there? No, I don't want to go there just yet because that involves me. Okay, I'm part of the business as well. Okay. Like, yes, I am wearing the booty shorts. Yes, but it's not to like. I mean, like, if people are attracted to that, great, but that's not the point. Okay, it's for flexibility and like it's breathable. My legs can breathe. It's very functional. It's not to get people all up in a tizzy. If that happens, great. If it doesn't, that's not the point. Oh yeah, what do you want to drink? I want to drink. Yeah. So yeah. I gotta give it up to the revival era. I like that. I like that actually. I like that. I guess I could talk a little bit about the things that happen around WrestleMania as well. What do I mean by that? I do feel like those fans have more to say, more because of the WrestleMania pivot of Roman, Rock, Cody. I think, from what I could tell, it was actually going to be Roman, Rock as the main event. I think. But then when the fan outcry came out, when WWE could see people were being very unhappy about this because it was supposed to be Roman Cody. When The Rock came in, as big a name as The Rock was, he was over 50 years old. He was not a full-time wrestler. How come when he came in and he immediately gets a title match? So the fans clearly voiced their displeasure for that. The fans hated Roman versus Rock. Exactly my point. So yeah, the original plan was Rock versus Roman. If it was the old management, they would have chugged on. Yes. That is almost for certain. I can definitely say that this, I think, was it in the post-media scrum, Triple H said that, yeah, it was Rock himself actually that said it. They were listening. They were very, very much keeping an eye on things. So although, yes, Roman was the big change, they were, even before that, they were going to listen and gauge. Gauge. Gauge, see what they said. And the fans made it loud and clear what they really wanted. And they put us through the ringer, didn't it? They made us earn it. It wasn't like, it wasn't like The Rock was like, oh yeah, I see what y'all say. Okay, Cody, go ahead. No. The Rock made Cody earn it. So that was really interesting. So they made a whole storyline out of it. That was really, really interesting to say. That was really, really interesting to see. So that was fascinating. So I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but in WrestleMania, because it's seen as the grandest stage of all, there will be a huge knock-on effect. Like, cities across the world and especially in America will literally bid to have WrestleMania there because it's a huge tourism thing, huge phenomenon thing. Once a stadium in any city gets announced, 70,000 people will show up. That kind of a thing. And when they so it's a huge revenue boost essentially to whatever city. So Philadelphia, they earn big time. And you know who else wants to earn as well? During WrestleMania weekend, professional wrestlers. which is why companies like DPW, West Coast Pro Wrestling, GCW, all had events in Philadelphia. In fact, I can give an example that's more closer to home. When the Elimination Chamber was announced in Perth, Australia, it literally felt like every other Australian wrestler that wasn't affiliated with WWE flew themselves to Perth and did shows in their independent shows as well. So like EPW ate good during that Elimination Chamber week. Yeah, did they announce where the next one was? Actually, not sure. One day I want to see WrestleMania week live, like the Indies. Oh, that'll be the dream. Imagine, if I'm not wrong, Alina, you are Filipino, right? Gods, imagine if WWE held a show in Manila. That would be, that would be insane. Gosh, that would be so cool to see. I mean, even if they were to hold even a house show or like a Survivor Series or SummerSlam in a Southeast Asian country, that would be freaking fire. Freaking fire. So where the next one is, I'm actually not sure. Let's check it out now. Let's check it out. Put these away first. Let me have a quick look. Let's see. WrestleMania 2025. We're only in April, man. It's still a rumor, frankly speaking. I'd be okay with a house show, but pay-per-view, or they call themselves PLEs now, would lose my mind. Yep. I don't think it's been officially announced yet. Some rumors, but ultimately, nothing confirmed. Nothing confirmed. Very, very likely it'll be in USA though. I'll say it for sure. So, Juby, you get to that, I suppose. So, in WWE. So, in Philadelphia, all these companies get to enjoy themselves. In fact, I'm going to highlight a couple of names, actually, that I was genuinely shocked to see them there. Do you guys know who Monomorph is? I've talked a little bit about him in the past. I featured him in a match, I think. Did I feature him in a match? I just watched the match. No, I watched the match. So, Monomorph is a professional wrestler from Thailand. His nickname is the Smiling Angel, and basically, if you can imagine a male wrestler whose gimmick is that he is a Victoria's Secret angel, that's his gimmick. God, that would be that. So he has an insanely good look, and he's a really good wrestler too. Man, so flexible, it's insane. He was in Effie's Big Gay Brunch, not branch, brunch. An LGBTQ-centric pro wrestling event, and he killed it. He was in a 4-way match facing 3 other American wrestlers, and he won it. That was, in fact, that was his. So he got to wrestle during WrestleMania weekend. Freaking A, WrestleMania weekend. Insane, man. So proud of him. And then I saw his Instagram stories too. He was there in WrestleMania. He was watching the show as well. He flipped his shit when he saw The Undertaker appear in the main event. It was hilarious. Imagine though, the manias are international too. UK one day. Has there ever been a WrestleMania in UK before? Let me check. Okay, I'm not sure. Wait, let me check. WrestleMania UK. Has there ever been? I'm not sure. No, I don't think it's ever happened. Wait, let me just check. Has there ever been a WrestleMania outside of USA before? Ah, Canada. I guess that's my answer. Just Canada. Basically North America. Almost the same thing. Almost. 1990 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Oh. Yeah, so that barely counts. Barely counts. Man, this is interesting. Doing a vertical stream. How is the experience like? Seeing me vertically. So, man, to see some Southeast Asian representation. What mania is that in Canada? Got to go. Got to get back to work. Not a problem, Juby. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for coming down. That was where was that? That was in 1990. So the WrestleMania 1990. I don't know which one. WrestleMania 6. Yes, WrestleMania 6. So quite an early one, actually. Let's see now. So yeah. Yeah, that was pretty wild to see a fellow Southeast Asian actually killing it in America. Actually, what in the world are the Thais doing right that we are not in the rest of Southeast Asia? That's insane. That is insane indeed. Oh man, they know how to get themselves on the news. That's for sure. The Thai wrestlers. In some ways, it does feel a bit like a Cinderella story. This whole WrestleMania 40. Bit of a dream, actually, that WWE genuinely feels like it's in a new era and not one where I just have a feeling that Mania will go outside the US with all these international events nowadays. I think so too. I think there is a good chance of them going more international these days, just because they can tap into untapped markets. They can serve an audience that has always wanted to check them out live, but just can't afford to fly themselves to North America. It's a big opportunity indeed. Obviously, it'll be quite the logistical nightmare, but I bet they can. In Southeast Asia, I can't recall when's the last time they came to Malaysia. I know they were in Singapore. The most recent country in Southeast Asia that they came into was Singapore, and that's the extent of it. Even that was a while ago as well. Yeah, but it's kind of surprising to hear them going to Perth. Actually, super random that it's in Perth of all places. But that's a pretty good location to be at, because in some ways that almost serves Southeast Asia. Helps that we're in the same bloody time zone as well. Actually, kind of wild that Perth's in the same time zone as the Philippines, Malaysia, and Malaysia. So in some ways, I guess WWE has sort of like made a lot of goodwill with WrestleMania 40. They really, really have. Here's actually I'm gonna pivot a little bit away from WrestleMania first, because you actually make a good point. that Mania will go outside the US for all these international events nowadays. It's possible. Mania in Australia will be wow. I think I see it as a possibility. What I also see as more plausible, in fact, it is happening to an extent, are larger wrestling promotions from Japan being involved more with Southeast Asia. Because, especially in this era, what they call the Reiwa era, I think, in pro wrestling in Japan now, they are opening the doors a little bit more, almost because they have to, because the pandemic really struck a blow to professional wrestling in Japan. Like, the majority of the ticket of revenue for New Japan Pro Wrestling, for instance, my understanding is through ticket sales. The majority of it. And when you can't even do shows for 2 bloody years, your financials will suffer a little bit. So I noticed a lot of these, for instance, in just a matter of a few coming weekend, Manila Wrestling Federation is collaborating with Kyushu Pro Wrestling. Like, Kyushu Pro Wrestling wrestlers from South Japan are coming to Manila to do a pretty big event. I haven't kept up with NJPW or any other Japanese companies, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I'm just making a point that even the other non-WWE companies are also opening up their doors, doing more with smaller companies, more underserved companies, especially the ones in Southeast Asia. I just know Okada left and joined AEW. That was indeed very, very big news. Very, very big news. But, and obviously Kyushu Pro Wrestling is not a well-known promotion at all, especially in Southeast Asia. But what I'm getting at is that there's a chance here, there's a huge opportunity to learn from these more veteran wrestlers, for the Japanese wrestlers to also seek out a new audience, for the Philippine audience to see newer talent as well. Not just Southeast Asian talent, but also talent that comes from a country where wrestlers work full time, but they are like good, And we're sort of seeing that in Malaysia as well. For those that have followed my socials a little bit, you might know what I mean. I really want to be very coy with what I talk about this, because obviously I did talk about Tanshiro Takagi, the president of DDT, one of the largest Japanese wrestling promotions. He came to our dojo and did more than just came down to our dojo. I'm not gonna say what exactly. But we live in very, very interesting times, is what I'm saying. As I said in the very beginning of this stream, there is no better time to be a pro wrestling fan than now. And I think that about wraps it up for today. It really is a little bit of a... It really does feel a bit like a Cinderella story. What happened in WrestleMania 4, and I think it's got a very good, very, very, very positive knock-on effect for all of professional wrestling. I'm very glad this all happened. I'm very glad Cody Rhodes gets to complete this chapter of his story. That is indeed amazing, and yes, indeed, I love professional wrestling. Folks, we're going to call it here. Thank you so much for dropping on by. Let me see. Just check very, very quickly when's the next stream. So yes, look forward to more more vertical streams. I was actually a little bit worried that I wasn't able to set up properly for today, but luckily I was able to. Yes. Coming up, next stream will be Friday. Why did I wrote that 9 o'clock? Dang it, it was supposed to be 8. Next stream will be on coming Friday. There'll be another Warhammer 40k bolt gun stream. We'll see if we're able to complete the game that day or not. I don't think so, but we'll see. Then Saturday will be a very interesting one sebab aku akan bercakap dalam bahasa Malaysia dan juga bahasa Indonesia juga. Sebab aku akan mabar Bakso Simulator. So I will be playing Bakso Simulator, which is a very Indonesian game. And I will be attempting to speak in the entire stream in Bahasa. So that'll be a new little challenge for me. It's something I've been meaning to get to for a long, long time now. So, folks, Cafe Cornelius is now closing shop. But may Cafe Cornelius never close the door. Have a lovely night. Ending the stream on this because I just realized that I did not prep my ending screen for the vertical format. My bad. I'll do so in the next one. Otherwise,